My beloved child, the quiet action you have just taken carried such profound power that I want you to pause and recognize that a new door is opening before your life. I, Archangel Michael, witnessed the moment you chose what was right, even though no one stood beside you to encourage you. There was no applause, and no assurance that your sacrifice would ever be rewarded. In the eyes of the world, that decision may have appeared insignificant, but beneath the light of heaven, it revealed a level of maturity that even you may not yet fully recognize. You chose to move forward while your heart was still weary. Chose integrity when you could easily have followed a more convenient path. And chose to remain kind even though what you had endured could have made you bitter. That very moment marked a turning point, because you no longer allowed the past to decide the person you would become. I know that the choice you recently made was not easy. Perhaps you had to release something you once held onto with all your strength. Forgive someone who never fully understood the pain they caused, or quietly refused to return to a cycle that had exhausted you. Perhaps you completed a responsibility without anyone knowing how deeply it tested you, or helped another person while you yourself were in need. Whatever form that action took, what brought me joy was not merely what you did, but the purity of the intention behind it. You did not act to prove that you were noble, nor did you seek admiration. You simply heard a gentle prompting within your heart and decided to follow what was right. That was the moment an old part of you began to fall away and a new strength started forming in the silence. Understand that the miracle now unfolding is not a gift offered to purchase your goodness. You do not need to perform good deeds in order to earn love, because you have already been seen, cherished, and valued. What is coming is the natural result of a life beginning to realign itself with clarity and truth. When you choose faith instead of fear, you do not cause every difficulty to disappear instantly, but you change your position in relation to those difficulties. You no longer stand as someone controlled by circumstances, but as someone who knows that you still possess the power to choose your response. That inner transformation will begin to influence the decisions, relationships, and opportunities surrounding you. A rejection that once devastated you may now simply redirect your path. A delay that once filled you with despair may become a season of preparation. Someone's departure that once left you feeling empty may now create the space through which peace can return. I have seen the battles you never told anyone about. Others looked at you and saw only an ordinary day, but they did not know how many times you had to lift yourself back onto your feet. They saw you smile, complete your work, and care for those around you. But they did not see the nights when you lay quietly in the darkness, trying to calm the thoughts racing endlessly through your mind. They saw your tears, but they did not understand that beneath them, perseverance was growing stronger day by day. I saw it all. I know you were not always strong. There were moments when you nearly surrendered, and moments when you questioned everything you had once believed. Yet even with trembling steps, you continued moving forward. That quiet perseverance has laid the foundation for what is now approaching. Many people may believe that your circumstances will remain unchanged because they can see only what is currently visible on the outside. They do not see how deeply you have changed throughout the passing months. You have begun to establish boundaries where you once knew only how to remain silent. You have stopped chasing people who continually caused you to question your worth. You are learning to rest without condemning yourself and recognizing that exhaustion is not proof of loyalty. You no longer easily trust beautiful promises when they are not accompanied by consistent action. These changes may seem small, but they are shifting the very ground beneath your life. As the way you choose begins to change, what no longer aligns with you will gradually fall away, while doors better suited to the person you are becoming will have room to appear. However, do not expect everything to change in a loud or dramatic manner. A miracle may arrive as an unexpected opportunity, but it may also begin as a peace you were once unable to hold on to for long. It may come as timely provision, a sincere encounter, or a new direction opening after months of stagnation. Yet sometimes the miracle is the day you remember an old wound without being pulled back into its pain. The day you say no without feeling guilty. Or the day you stop waiting for an apology from someone who is not yet willing to accept responsibility. Do not confine goodness to a single form. When you search only for a spectacular sign, you may overlook the quiet transformations that are healing your life little by little. You do not need to press a button or leave a declaration for grace to continue flowing. Heaven does not measure your heart by what you do on a screen. True agreement is revealed by how you live when no one is watching. Continue choosing kindness, but do not allow your goodness to be exploited. Give from a place of love, while still knowing how to protect your boundaries. Keep your heart open, yet allow time to test the sincerity of those who wish to enter your life. What causes a blessing to spread is not a like or a comment, but the moment you use your own experiences to strengthen someone who has lost hope. Use your words to encourage rather than condemn, and use your maturity to end painful cycles instead of passing them on to others. I want you to prepare for the new season through practical actions. Complete what remains unfinished. Bring order to your life, and stop postponing decisions whose answers you already know. If you desire greater provision, learn to manage what is currently in your hands. If you desire a significant opportunity, develop your abilities so that when the door opens, you will be steady enough to walk through it. If you desire healthy love, stop returning to those who offer you only uncertainty. You cannot pray for peace while continuing to open the door to chaos. A miracle does not replace your responsibility. It gives you greater strength to make wiser choices. As you cooperate through discipline, gratitude, and honesty, goodness will not only draw near, but will also have a foundation upon which it can remain. My beloved child, remember that what you endured was not a punishment, but neither must it be glorified as though suffering were the only path to maturity. Some wounds came from the wrong choices of others, from unjust circumstances, or from seasons in which you did not yet know how to protect yourself. Nevertheless, you did not allow those wounds to have the final word. From betrayal, you gained discernment. From loneliness, you learned how to stand firmly. From loss, you gained a deeper understanding of what is truly valuable. You do not need to experience further pain to prove that you deserve something better. Keep the lesson, but lay down the burden. Remember the old road, but do not return to live upon it. I am standing near you with the joy of a protector, watching a beloved child finally cross a boundary that once caused fear. You have not become perfect, and I do not demand perfection from you. What matters is that you have begun to become more honest with yourself, to admit when you are wrong, to rise after you stumble, and to stop using old failures as weapons against your future. The action you recently took is evidence that your heart is maturing. It does not make you greater than anyone else, but it shows that you are ready to live with greater responsibility toward the light entrusted to you. Remain humble, because what is coming is not only intended to make your life easier, but also to enable you to become a source of comfort, hope, and support for those walking through the path you once traveled. Therefore, move forward without looking back to see who is doubting you. Those who see only your struggles will eventually realize that you did not remain still, yet you do not need to live in order to astonish them. Live for peace, for maturity, and to use what has been placed in your hands with purpose. The miracle bearing your name is not a distant reward waiting to be activated. It is a process that began the moment you chose what was right while no one else knew. I, Michael, witnessed that moment, and now I remind you not to underestimate it. One sincere choice can open the way for many new choices. One courageous step can change the direction of an entire life. A heart that remains kind after suffering can become a place toward which beautiful things are drawn. Continue forward with awakened faith, because the greatest wonder is not only what is coming to you, but also the strong, clear, and loving person you are becoming, my beloved child. Someone once used your patience and affection as a means of keeping you trapped in circumstances that drained you. But today, I want you to see clearly and reclaim your power to choose. They may never have openly opposed you, nor will they necessarily admit what they did, but through the way they continually made you feel guilty, forced you to explain yourself, kept you waiting, and expected you to sacrifice your peace in order to preserve the connection. You gradually began to understand that love should not function this way. I do not want you to live in suspicion or accuse anyone without clear evidence. What I am teaching you is to examine the outcome. If a relationship continually causes you to lose your voice, diminish your worth, and live in anxiety, then you must pause and examine what is truly taking place. You once believed that patience meant enduring until another person changed. You thought that if you loved deeply enough, explained yourself clearly enough, and gave one more opportunity, they would eventually understand. Yet some people do not use opportunities to mature. They use your tolerance as permission to continue behaving in the same way. I do not want this to continue. The reversal I am bringing is not a scene in which another person collapses so that you may rejoice in their downfall. It is the moment when emotional manipulation no longer holds power over you. When you stop reacting to words designed to make you feel guilty. When you learn to say no without trembling. And when you stop chasing people to resolve misunderstandings they intentionally created, the balance of power changes. Perhaps someone recently approached you, spoke with you, or entered your personal space, and you sensed that something did not feel entirely comfortable. Respect that feeling, but do not immediately treat it as proof that the person carries harmful intentions. Mature discernment does not draw conclusions from a single glance, a tone of voice, or a temporary feeling. It observes how a person behaves over time, whether they respect boundaries, whether their words align with their actions, and whether their presence allows you to feel safe or continually forces you to remain guarded. You do not need to smile through everything merely to appear polite. You may gently end the conversation, refuse to share private information, or take time to think before allowing anyone deeper access to your life. I know you have worried that someone may have pretended to support you while secretly resenting your progress. Such things can happen in life. But you do not need to spend your time investigating who may be jealous or imagining what others are thinking about you. Allow their actions to reveal the truth. A person who genuinely supports you will not continually belittle your accomplishments. Turn your joy into a competition, or sow doubt whenever you are about to move forward. Someone who has not yet matured may feel uncomfortable with your transformation, but their feelings are not your responsibility. You do not need to reduce your light to make others feel more comfortable. Nor do you need to prove that you are superior. Continue walking humbly and allow the results to emerge at the proper time. Your name may be mentioned in an important conversation, a workplace, a collaborative group, or before someone who has the ability to open an opportunity. However, do not place all your hope in a prediction that someone is certainly preparing a contract or a special letter for you. Instead, prepare yourself so that when a genuine opportunity appears, you will not miss it through a lack of readiness. Complete your work. Update your skills. Keep your promises. And review what you could communicate more clearly. An open door becomes useful when you possess the maturity to walk through it, not merely because your name was spoken. If a document, invitation, or contract comes to you, read it carefully. Do not sign hastily simply because it feels like the blessing you have waited for so long. What is healthy is not threatened by questions. Examine the terms. Seek advice from someone qualified. And do not give personal information or money to anyone merely because they use beautiful promises. Wisdom does not weaken your faith. It protects what you spent many years building. I want doors to open for you. But I also want you to recognize which doors lead to freedom and which merely wear an attractive appearance. You may also notice that pressure within your mind increases as you approach a major decision. However, do not immediately label every form of tension as a spiritual attack. Perhaps you are sleep-deprived, overworked, facing uncertainty, or carrying wounds that have not yet received proper care. Rest. Reorganize your schedule, and speak with someone you trust. If anxiety continues, causes you to lose sleep, prevents you from concentrating, or leaves you constantly feeling threatened, seek help from a qualified professional. You are not weak because you need assistance. Wisdom itself is also a form of protection. I do not want you to type a number or a word in order to receive protection. No blessing depends upon whether you comment, Amen, 663, or 212. If you say Amen, let it be an agreement that you will walk in clarity and no longer allow fear or manipulation to take control. Say Amen through the way you establish boundaries. Verify information, care for your health, and refuse to return to cycles that have drained you. A declaration possesses weight only when it is followed by a way of life that agrees with it. My beloved child, genuine breakthrough may be closer than before, but it does not require you to cling to a message until the very end, out of fear that heaven will become silent if you leave. I do not punish you with silence because you failed to watch a video or press a button. Guidance is not imprisoned within one channel, one person, or one moment. You may hear what you need in silence, through sincere counsel, through the outcome of your choices, or through the peace that gradually returns as you move in the right direction. I do not want you to depend upon messages that terrify you with the possibility of missing your destiny. I want you to mature until you can recognize what is true, even when no one is constantly reminding you. If someone attempts to distract you, you do not need to confront them or investigate their motives. Protect your focus through simple choices. Spend less time in conversations that only create confusion. Stop sharing your plans with people who continually dismiss them, and direct your attention toward what genuinely builds your future. Sometimes distraction does not come from another person, but from your own habits, constantly checking your phone, comparing yourself with everyone else, or beginning many tasks without completing any of them. Return to simplicity. Choose one necessary step. Complete it well, and then move forward. The clarity you are waiting for may arrive within a few days, or it may require more time. Do not force every glance, conversation, and silence to fit a prediction. Allow life to reveal itself. If someone says something important, listen completely. If you receive a message, examine its content instead of focusing only on the time it arrived. If someone's expression makes you uneasy, observe their actual behavior rather than attempting to read their thoughts through their face. Truth is established through consistent evidence, not through intuition alone. I want you to be sensitive enough to recognize danger, yet calm enough not to turn sensitivity into suspicion toward everyone. What belongs to you cannot be preserved through fear. It is preserved through honesty, boundaries, responsibility, and clear-minded decisions. The person who once manipulated your emotions will realize that their old methods no longer work when you stop arguing until you are exhausted. Those who underestimated your ability cannot keep you small if you continue learning and faithfully doing your work. You do not need to witness their failure in order to know that you are free. Freedom becomes visible when you stop checking what they think. Stop waiting for their regret, and stop using success as a form of revenge. I am leading you into a life where love is no longer used as a chain. Patience is no longer confused with passive endurance, and kindness no longer leaves you vulnerable to exploitation. You can remain compassionate without being naive, generous without emptying yourself, and forgiving without granting unconditional access again. This is the reversal I want you to receive, not that another person loses everything, but that you recover yourself. Therefore, my beloved child, remain in clarity rather than remaining in fear. Do not listen because you are afraid silence will cover you. Listen because you desire to grow. Do not wait for an external miracle to confirm your worth. Build your future through honest choices today. If an opportunity arrives, receive it with wisdom. If a truth is revealed, face it calmly. If someone shows that they no longer belong in your life, walk away without destroying them. The deepest blessing is not that everyone finally acknowledges you, but that you no longer need their approval in order to stand firmly in truth. Peace and dignity, my beloved child. The prayers that once caused you to believe heaven was silent will soon be illuminated by a new understanding, so that you may recognize that not one of your sighs has been forgotten. I know there were nights when you waited until you were exhausted, and mornings when you awoke, wondering why your circumstances remained unchanged, even though you had prayed with complete sincerity. You believed the door had closed. You thought you were not worthy enough, or had somehow lost the goodness that was meant for you. Yet I want you to look calmly at the road you have traveled. Delay is not always denial. And silence does not necessarily mean abandonment. Some answers require time to take shape. Because it is not only the circumstances that must change, you must also become steady enough to receive what you once desired. Your pain, confusion, and lonely months were not a price you had to pay in order to purchase a blessing. I do not rejoice in watching you suffer, nor do I require pain as proof of your loyalty. Nevertheless, what happened can still be transformed into wisdom. The storms revealed which foundations were not strong enough. Disappointments helped you distinguish beautiful words from sincere actions. Those who left without explanation caused your heart great pain. But their departure also taught you that your worth is not determined by whether someone chooses to remain or turns away. You passed through experiences that once convinced you that you could not continue. Yet you are still here, still breathing, still hoping, and still preserving the precious gentleness within you. There were battles you faced silently that very few people could see. Others saw you appear, work, smile, and fulfill your responsibilities. They did not know how many times you had to gather every remaining fragment of strength simply to rise from your bed. They did not see the moments when you sat alone and held back your tears because you did not want to become a burden to anyone. They did not understand how many voices you had to resist, voices that caused you to question your value and your future. But I saw you. I remained near during the days when you had no words left, when all you could do was breathe slowly and attempt one more step. Those small steps, which no one applauded, carried you through a season that once seemed capable of swallowing you. Now I am calling you out of the cycles that have exhausted you for far too long. Perhaps it is the habit of always placing the needs of others above your own peace. Perhaps it is the pattern of continually returning to a relationship that has already proven it offers only confusion and pain. Perhaps it is the fear of failure that causes you to postpone a dream, even though deep within you know that you must try once more. A new season does not begin merely because a date changes on the calendar. It begins when you stop making the same choices as the person you were yesterday. The old current loses its power when you refuse to continue feeding it through reactions, habits, and beliefs that have kept you trapped. I want to lead you to a place where fear is no longer permitted to take the wheel. This does not mean you will never again experience anxiety or doubt. You may still tremble before a new door and feel uncertain when facing a significant decision. But this time, you will not allow those emotions to choose on your behalf. You will learn to pause, observe, seek clarity, and move forward even when you cannot yet see the entire journey. Courage does not mean that fear completely disappears. Courage means that fear may be present, yet you remain faithful to what is right. You do not need to become someone who is never vulnerable. You simply need to stop giving vulnerability the authority to determine your future. The past may continue whispering that you are incapable, that every door will eventually close, and that everyone you love will leave. Yet the past has no authority to predict your entire life. One rejection does not mean you will always be excluded. One failed relationship does not prove that you are unworthy of love. One season of scarcity does not condemn you to a lifetime of insecurity. Old words possess power only when you continue believing and living according to them. Today, you can answer them with a different decision, a clearer boundary, a more courageous step, and a deeper respect for yourself. Answered prayers do not always arrive in the form you once imagined. Sometimes you prayed for someone to remain, But the answer you received was the strength to walk away. Sometimes you asked for a door to open, yet you were guided toward another road that suited you better. Sometimes you prayed for your circumstances to change, while the first thing healed was the way you understood your own worth. Do not reject an answer simply because it does not resemble what you expected. An ending may also be a deliverance. A rejection may also be protection. A period of silence may also be the place where you are prepared, so that you do not enter something new while still carrying old habits. Opportunities may come unexpectedly, but I do not want you to chase everything that glitters and call it a blessing. Use the discernment formed through what you have endured. A healthy opportunity will not require you to betray your values. Surrender your dignity or act in panic. A suitable person will not continually force you to wonder whether you are respected. The right path may require effort, but it will not demand that you diminish yourself in order to remain upon it. When an invitation appears, examine it through. Does it bring clarity, order, and an opportunity to grow? Or does it merely awaken intense emotion and then abandon you in confusion? You also do not need to keep chasing what truly belongs to you. This does not mean that you should sit still and do nothing. You must continue learning, preparing, refining your skills, and stepping forward when the proper door opens. Yet you do not need to beg someone to recognize your worth. You do not have to convince an unsuitable place that it should choose you. What is right will meet you where preparation and timing come together. It will not require you to exchange your peace merely to hold on to it. Do your part faithfully, and allow the outcome to arrive without causing you to lose yourself. Your name may become more widely known, but do not seek recognition merely to heal the times when others overlooked you. Let your reputation be built upon integrity, dependability, and the quality of what you do. The right people will recognize your value without your needing to shout. True elevation does not place you above others. It gives you greater capacity to serve, build, and create goodness. When you are finally seen, remember the days when you worked in silence. When an opportunity is placed in your hands, remember what it felt like to stand outside the door. Humility will protect you from allowing success to transform you into someone disconnected from the values that carried you there. Your next breath is not a secret code that automatically unlocks a miracle, but it can become the marker of a new decision. You may breathe in calmness and breathe out the burden you have carried for too long. You may decide that you will no longer call exhaustion loyalty, confusion love, or fear wisdom. You may begin with one small action. Complete what you have postponed. Establish a necessary boundary. Reopen a plan you once abandoned. Or seek support for something you cannot untangle by yourself. These are the actions that clear the road before you. Michael, do not promise that every challenge will immediately disappear. I simply remind you that you no longer face those challenges as the person you once were. You now possess greater clarity, endurance, and the ability to recognize what truly deserves your time. What once caused you to collapse may now simply cause you to pause and reflect. What once terrified you may now become a reminder to prepare more carefully. The road is opening not because every obstacle has vanished, but because you have learned not to let those obstacles make you forget your direction. Therefore, my beloved child, step into the new chapter with humility and awakened faith. Do not look back merely to count what you lost. Look back to recognize how much you have grown. Do not rush forward because you fear being left behind. Move with the steady rhythm of someone who knows where they are going. What is coming may be an opportunity, restoration, a healthy connection, or a clarity that changes the direction of your entire life. Whatever form it takes, receive it with hands that have learned how to protect what is given and with a heart that no longer clings out of desperation. The old season has completed its lesson. Now, you are not merely being called to survive, but to build a peaceful, meaningful life worthy of the maturity formed within you. Through every day you refuse to give up.